Welcome back to Moon Harbor Heroes. This is Storyteller Issue 2, The Cavern of Horrors. On the cover, we see a darkened cave. The light from Ethan's amulet, which lays on the ground, faintly illuminates the looming figures of Francis and several other animals, including a rather mean-looking eel and a massive walrus. We turn the page, and our story begins. We open on a shot, this time from behind the storyteller, as he's frantically writing something. We see small glimpses over his shoulder, the cavern from before, maybe a corner of a red wagon, then he slams it shut. He immediately begins speaking again, in that same spooky lettering. I see you've returned to this nightmarish tale of 3 children who seemed predestined to fail. Their Halloween travels had led them to this, an underground city where something's amiss. What will become of our 3 small explorers? You'll find out in this issue, The Cavern of Horrors. He moves away from the desk and we see the same cover from before. A gust of wind blows across it and the pages flutter. We turn the page and our story begins.
All right, let's get to the charades game. So, what are you asking them? What are they trying to answer for you?
I don't think Ethan thought that far ahead.
During this, I think Teddy has his back to them and is just kind of keeping an eye out on the animals in the area.
I want to know if this is the drop that will get us home.
So you're asking specifically if the waterfall will get you home.
Yeah, because I remember from my music that I knew there would be a drop when the cave stopped and that it would get us home by midnight time.
They start, nodding and, frantically being like, yes. And they point at the waterfall and they're like, waterfall, and they give a thumbs up. But then they, gesture all around them and, they make, big frantic no gestures with their hands.
Waterfall, get us home. Everything else here won't.
They start to respond, and one of the dolphins comes and does a cool jump out of the water, and the reflection is just disturbed. And when you look back in, the kids are no longer there.
That wasn't very nice.
It wasn't very nice. Mr. Dolphin, why did you do that?
The dolphin looks up, and the other dolphin looks up and says, "That was a sick trick, bro." And the one dolphin is like, "Thanks, bro." And they just keep swimming and diving deeper and deeper.
Hey, bro, show me another.
The dolphin looks back, the one who did the cool trick earlier, and comes up really close to the edge and is like, "Yeah, you want to see another?"
Now you're scaring me. Thought I did. I want to be your friend.
Okay, roll plus animal companion. All right, on a 10. You make friends with a critter who will follow you and act on your influence. They can do the same basic moves as your character. Cool. It's like, okay, well then I won't scare you anymore, sorry. And it kind of just chills out.
Thanks, bro. What's at the bottom of your waterfall? Besides your sick moves.
They look at the waterfall and they're like, "Oh, we don't know. We don't go down there. That's only for visitors."
Oh.
It goes further down than our lake goes. And the other dolphin comes up and says, "It goes to the center of the earth."
Ooh.
That sounds awesome!
You know, all of us are really one with the center of the earth. That's it. That's all I've got.
Teddy kind of leans back and goes, "Ask them about the otter."
Hey, you know that otter guy?
The dolphins both nod and they're like, yeah, Mayor Francis McDermott.
He's a mayor?
I mean, he's the mayor right now. There was another mayor, but that mayor's gone. And now Francis is the mayor.
Is he nice? Or naughty?
The one dolphin, the one who's not, your friend is what, in the animal sense? Or the Santa Claus sense? Is he getting coal or a present for Christmas?
Yeah, just like that.
I don't know.
We should. You know what I think would help us figure this out? Whether he's nice or naughty, based on your
What's that?
experience in this town. I think we should do a drum circle. For me, man, your sick moves and my sick tunes together.
The one dolphin is like, okay, yeah, absolutely, let's go, and starts like hitting her tail on the rocks nearby, and she definitely joins your drum circle.
All right. I think this place is kind of shady, and you might not call me a lady, but I don't quite know who to trust, and find out more about this waterfall I must.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll your recite poetry.
Darn it.
She's like, that was really cool. That was such good poetry. You were such a good poet.
Thanks.
And yeah, at that moment, we see the mayor, Francis, coming down the little slanted incline next to you. And he's like, well, we can get you home. All you have to do is just swim into the waterfall.
You're a mayor?
No, it wants to take our youth.
He looks at you and is like, my small friend, everything takes your youth in some way. And we also get that like introspective like drawing of him as well, where it's like hyper realistic and like it's basically just a photograph of an otter in clothes.
I
And
was
then
imagining like Black Sad's art style.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Excellent.
Is there another thing that would drop in this room? Like another thing that would be considered a drop?
I mean, if you look, there's like an extended area, like over the lake, kind of up where there's some like there's like an incline running at the side of the room that leads to like some like higher up areas, and you could drop off some of those areas. There's some like opening, some balcony space up there. There is one of the buildings near you. You can see through the open door has what looks like drop ceiling panels, but other than no.
I think I whispered to the big kid. I'm like, do you see a drop anywhere? Like a thing that you drop from? Not like a raindrop. Although it could be that too. Hold on. Let me think back in my memory. The light before the cave will stop. At the end, there's a big dark drop. Before the drop, beyond that drop, we will find a way back home before midnight time. I think there's a big dark drop, and we're supposed to go in there. You see one, big kid?
Other
You're like
than
my
the
brother
waterfall, I don't think so. I'm going to be looking around.
Are you gandering? Is that what's happening when you're looking around?
Sure.
Cool. Go ahead and roll plus noodle.
Kids are smarter.
Not much smarter. That's a 4.
Get that experience. You've got it. You've earned it. It doesn't look like there's anything. There are a bunch of like stalactites hanging from the ceiling that look like they might be able to fall. That like maybe that could be the drop. Like if you dropped a stalactite on something. But other than that, there's nothing else new that you can see.
Yeah, the only drop I see is that one. I point over towards the waterfall. What is the mayor doing at this point?
The mayor's just kind of standing near you all, and he's like looking at you, kind of just inquisitive. Ethan.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, Otter, sir. Who are the kids in the water? They seem nice.
He looks at you and he says, They are children from a long time ago. The water here is, well, it reflects what we can no longer see. And we can no longer see those kids. They've grown up and moved on. They left us just like you will soon leave us. But they'll always stay here. In spirit and in our hearts.
Oh, he's really meta. I don't know what that means, but it feels
Oh.
right.
They're not like trapped or anything.
He just ruffles your hair. And he's like, you kids and your imagination. And then he looks down at his watch and he's like, it's getting pretty late. It's almost 11:30. If you want to get home before midnight, you should swim to the waterfall.
I kind of want to run away from him and skidoo.
Ethan, how are you skidooing out of there?
I'm like bolting it up to the upper levels.
Cool. Go ahead and roll plus steam. You already did.
Yep. 7.
7. So, on a 7 to 9, you escape but create a complication. You leave something behind, you take something with you, you create tracks, etc. Yeah, so you go bolting away from him and you like run like he's wearing a flowy robe kind of looking thing. He's like changed into like almost a ceremonial robe looking outfit now, and you like run underneath his legs past the like under the robe. And as you're doing it, your amulet falls out of your hand. And then you're running up the slanted area, and it's getting darker because there's less lights in this like upper elevated area, and it's getting darker and darker and darker. Let's go over to Teddy. Teddy, your brother just took off. What do you do?
After I realize what's happening, and probably about when I see Ethan disappearing into the dark, I'm gonna yell after Ethan and just run after him.
Cool. You don't have Skidoo, right? Or did you take Skidoo?
No, I don't have Skidoo.
Cool. So you're just gonna run.
There is rules for using moves that you don't have. I think it's -1. I'll have to double check.
I can go back.
-2.
On -2?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll plus Skidoo for me.
Also, Nugget, I'm so sorry. I'm just totally trying to ditch you.
Okay.
So that's plus steam -2 for you.
Okay.
And you do still have the lobster claws if you want to use those for a +1. It doesn't matter. You got a 4. Cool. You go to run past, and the mayor just like catches you, and he's like, "Your brother is causing so much mischief, little one, big one. All of you get in the way." And he like holds onto your shoulder pretty tightly. Not enough to hurt, not enough to like be scary, but like that like an adult's authority figure has taken charge now.
Yeah, I'm struggling against him, but I assume it's not working. I'm like, I have to get my brother.
He says, "Don't worry, we'll have friends get your brother. We'll bring your brother back to you." And then he like gestures towards the open door of that building we saw earlier with the drop paneling. And this, you remember that like big kid earlier from your who was also dressed up as the mobster who played the trick on you?
Yeah.
You could swear that this eel that comes out looks just like that person. It's an eel. It is an anthropomorphic eel, but it looks just like that person that played the trick on you earlier. And this eel is like, "What do you need, boss?" And the mayor says, "One of our guests ran up the slope towards the mayor's office. Please get him for me." And the eel nods. And because he's an eel, he has a very, very long head. So it's a very long nod. And then he starts up the incline. Nugget, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna try to I'm gonna throw a deceptive temper tantrum.
Okay.
The
And
best kind of temper tantrum.
Are you
Because
using distract or are you using cosmetic?
trying to cause mischief.
Okay.
Oh, I have distract too. I forgot about that.
You do. You
Oh.
have distraction.
Right. What is that plus? Is that noodle
It's
too?
roll plus mush.
I'll do that instead. I
So
cause
that-
a stink.
You'll distract you'll distract the mayor, and then someone else will get some pluses to that.
Yeah.
Cool. So go ahead and roll plus mush.
And
And
I can use my wagon to make this temper tantrum more powerful.
Perfect. Use it.
I'm like, I want my mommy and daddy. And I say, I want my mommy and daddy, and now it makes me saddy just because it feels, for some reason, the rhyme is now becoming more a part of me, you know?
You're becoming one with the beat.
Yeah.
On a 7 to 9, that was an 8. So on a 7 to 9, your friend's defensive move gains +1 to their roll, but you put yourself in danger. So when Teddy tries to get out, when Teddy tries to get out of this, he'll get a +1, but you do put yourself in danger.
Okay.
I'll reveal how that happens in a minute. But before we get to all of that, don't forget that you have that +1, Teddy. We're going to jump over to Ethan. Ethan, it just got very, very dark. We get a panel that is basically just a black panel with your eyes illuminated. And any speech bubbles you may say at this moment. What do you do?
Would I be able to use the stumble upon move, like in the dark?
Yes, I think you would be able to use stumble upon.
I think he's just like reaching out around him, just trying to find like anything, like a wall, just something.
Perfect. Use that stumble upon move. That's roll plus noodle.
Well, that's a 4.
Excellent.
Oh no.
You're stumbling in the darkness, and we see like there's a little bit more light in the panel, not in the actual world, but like enough to like see like an outline of your hands reaching in the darkness and stuff. And then we see kind of above you in the darkness, cutting across the darkness, the dialogue box from the eel that says, "All right, little friend, stop hiding in the dark, come out and play." And then the next panel is that same panel, but we see like the eel outlined in electricity for a moment. And he says, "Gotcha." And then it gets dark again. What do you do?
I'm gonna skidoo. I want to
Excellent.
run just in the opposite direction from him.
Cool. So like further into this darkness.
Yeah, he's afraid of the dark, but I think he's more afraid of this eel.
Cool. Roll plus steam.
Oh man. 6.
All right. I will give you. I think you do, in fact, make it away from him. You start running, you're running, you're running, and you brush up against what feels like a curtain. And then suddenly you stumble and are falling off the edge of those in like outcroppings I mentioned earlier, the like high off cliff areas above the lake. You stumble and you fall and you like catch on by like your fingertips and are hanging on from this like cliff about 25-30 feet in the air above this lake. And I think we're going to cut back to Teddy. Teddy, you see your brother appear from one of like the balcony window areas and then like almost fall and plunge into the lake. What do you do?
And the mayor is still holding on to me, but distracted by Nugget.
Yep.
At this point, I've gotten the lobster claws back on. I'm going to turn if I can and just shove him.
Cool. So that is going to be
Hurt?
I think that's going to be hurt. Yep. And you get the +1 from Nugget's help earlier, plus your 1. So you got plenty of pluses there. You got a 10. You're good. Cool. So on a 10 plus, you do 1 harm, and your foe does not act for another turn. We're doing a little bit less like directly turn based, but you do 1 harm. You push him, and I think he like falls towards the lake and like catches himself on the edge of the lake. He doesn't quite fall all the way in, and you've got an opening.
I'm gonna yell out, "Nugget, come on!" and run towards like, I guess below. Is there anything I can get to below Ethan?
It's just the lake underneath him.
Screw it! I'm swimming out into the lake.
Great. We'll get you about to jump in 1 second. Before you jump in, we see Nugget, are you following?
Oh, how am I in danger?
I will tell you in a second. Are you following Teddy?
I was wondering if I could, since he pushed the guy over, I was wondering if I could like try to cause some mischief by like rolling like kicking some rocks in front of him to make him fall into the water, but it might be too late for that.
Yeah, I think he already hit the ground, so I don't think you could make him fall any further.
Okay. Then yeah, I'll try to follow him.
Cool. Teddy jumps into the water, and as you're about to jump in, a hand from the otter reaches up and grabs you around the ankle and pulls you back. And like doesn't like throw you to the ground, but like definitely pulls you back. And the otter is like pulling himself to his feet. And he's like, "Why must you children be so difficult?
I thought you wanted us to get in the water.
I didn't want you to push me down. We don't push our friends, right?"
You didn't get in my wagon. We're not friends. Can I try to trip him? Or no. A real friend would no. You know what? I'm just gonna try to trip him.
Cool. How are you trying to trip him?
Are there like some like rocks around or anything like that?
There's some seashells. There's like piles of seashells. They're pretty big.
Okay, so maybe I'll like put them in a way, like real quick, try to set a little trap so that as he's trying to pull me up, like he steps on them and they poke him in the feet, make him fall down.
Cool. I think we could have you do that fast enough. Go ahead and roll plus noodle on that.
That is, we love a noodle roll. I hate a noodle roll. I don't have a lot of noodle. Yeah.
All right, mark experience. You've got that was a 3. He sees you grabbing the shells and he's like, "All right, well, I didn't want to have to do it this way, but you and your friends seem to be very eager to, cause mischief." So, and he grabs you by the shoulders and he just tosses you into the water.
Have I jumped into the water yet?
You have, yeah.
Okay.
And now we're gonna get the view under the water. You all hit the water and go underneath, and I think we'll get this panel as Teddy hits the water. And under the water, everything looks different. Like you look up and above you where there was the like big kind of like torchlit cavern area, everything is like shadowy and really scary and lots of sharp angles, very like children's nightmare-esque. And the kids under the water are manifest. They are like physical beings, and they're all swimming towards you. And you can hear them now, and they're all saying, "No, get out of the water, get out of the water. You can't be in here. She'll get you, she'll get you."
I'm gonna try to say back, I have to get my brother. I don't know if that's gonna work.
You cannot speak underwater. Just comes up as a bunch of bubbles. And at that
It's charades. I point up at the where he's hanging off the cliff, right?
Yeah, that'll work. They all look over and they see him and they're like, "Oh no, we can't let him fall. She'll get him too." And the kids start swimming as fast as they can. And there's a lot of them. There's like dozens of them. And they like, some of them go all the way to the bottom of this lake, which does not go as deep as the waterfall in the middle. And they start like piling up and making like almost a human ladder from the bottom of it. And it looks like they're going to try to like reach up and stop him from falling.
I think we need to get out of the water. Can I skidoo out of the water?
You can skidoo out of the water. That's going to be a roll plus steam.
Gosh darn it.
Mark that experience.
How many experience? What is it? How many do you need? I have a lot of those.
5 to start.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's 5 to get your first level up. And then the next one, 6 more on top of that, etc. You swim towards the edge, towards the where you had just climbed up, and suddenly there is this like large shadowy shape in front of you. It is like a creature made entirely out of shadow, and its eyes are red and has big yellow teeth, and it smiles at you and is like, no, 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 you're not going anywhere. And I think we're going to cut back to Ethan. Ethan, you're hanging off the edge of a cliff.
Yep.
Do you have anything you want to do, or are you just going to hang there?
I think he's gonna like look down and like kind of gasp and say, I haven't been off the high dive yet.
At that moment, you do see like a lot of action under the water. All of the reflections you can see of the kids are like gathering together to like hopefully not like, it looks like they're like trying to make a ladder to catch you. You see your brother kind of swimming in the middle of the lake, and Nugget has just turned around to swim back, and there's this like big shadowy thing, and from your view above you can see that this big shadowy thing takes up like a third of the distance of one of the sides of the lake. This thing is very, very large.
Yikes. So am I able to see the kids at all?
Yep, you can see them.
And you said I'm hanging off by one hand, right?
Yeah, I think you caught yourself by one hand. You can put your other hand up if you want.
I'm gonna wave.
The kids wave, and they like, it looks like they're all yelling, but you can't hear what they're saying. It's just bubbles popping and musical sounds coming up.
Oh damn. Oof. I'm gonna try to pull myself up.
Cool. I bet there's a move that's something close to that.
Not one that I have.
That could be a skidoo to get out of the situation.
That's true.
Go ahead and roll plus steam.
I'm just not skidooing well today. Just that one time. It's a 3.
Cool. Mark experience. And at that moment, the eel shows up above you.
Oh,
and
no.
Bristling with electricity. And is like, all right, kid. Now come easy. I don't want to hurt ya.
As we turn the page, we are immediately greeted with a 2-page spread of the storyteller looking out at us. He grins, a large, terrifying grin, and says, "We're still not quite finished this treacherous tome. Will our 3 children ever find their way home? It seems less than likely, that much I feel, between otter and shadow and villainous eel. But there's more to this story, as I know you can see. So return just once more for issue number 3. The next page is blank except for the very edge, where his fingertips reach around it as if pulling the comic closed.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or TPHuth94 on Instagram. This issue is GM by T Huth. Ethan is played by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at ELLIOTYLEN on Instagram. Nugget is played by Rose. Rose is an actor and theater artist in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. She can be found on social medias at Smiley Rosie, spelled SmileyRoseyyy. Teddy is played by Anthony Sheets. The music for this issue is Vanishing by Kevin MacLeod. A link to the license and his website will be in the show notes. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or on Patreon at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please consider leaving us a review on iTunes and recommending it to friends. Word of mouth is really the best way for us to bring these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.